That's the most important element to this costume, and it looks like he just nailed it.
Also has a helmet. I know apparently he doesn't battle with the helmet on. When we first saw him, I thought he was going to be playing dragons, very fittingly. He could call them.
That was the Green Ranger's thing. And as far as playing Magic with masks, it's a difficult issue with communication. I could see that. I have experience with this.
You've played Magic with a mask on?
For about 10 minutes at Grand Prix Chicago 2 years ago.
All right, well, game underway here. Harlan Fear, he's number 5 on the leaderboard on your left. Jesse Cagle on the right with Blue-Green Company. Both trading off tap lands. It's Lumbering Falls from Jesse. Now, as I said before, he is a somewhat 3-color deck. He's a heavy dose of Eldrazi colorless cards.
Blue-green splash colorless.
It's kind of weird to say, isn't it?
It's very awkward. Let's not do that anymore.
That's how you'll be Sylvan Advocate. The 2/3 Vigilance does upgrade. I don't believe he has many other land creatures, just playing as a value too.
Yep, a 2/3 that becomes a 4/6 with Vigilance. Reminiscent in some ways of Tarmogoyf.
And now here's going to be an opening for Jesse. Harlan, his third turn, is spent casting a Painful Truths on 3. He's going to load up on removal spells. You see tons of them in his hand here, but goes down to 17.
Whole bunch of Crackling Dooms hanging out.
And that's kind of the Mardu Green styles. You play a bunch of kill spells, and then you play Dark Dwellers and flash back those kill spells, and hopefully they've taken enough incremental damage that then you get across the finish line.
That's the great thing about a card like Crackling Doom is you're trading 1 for 1. You're also getting some chip shots in. Menace on Galban Dark Dwellers makes it pretty easy to clean up.
And a Morph will be the post-combat play from Jesse. Now, plays 2 copies of Stratus Dancer.
Oh my.
And I believe that is his only Morph. So that's what this one is going to be. Now, if I'm Harlan, I'll tell you what, I don't think it's Stratus Dancer.
No.
I would think it's Den Protector.
I would definitely bet that that's what Harlan's thinking.
And we'll see whether or not... Stratus Dancer is actually very strong on this board.
Interestingly, letting Jesse untap with either of those creatures are very similar. The difference being when you kill the Den Protector, it goes away. But if you wait and then he just counters your removal spell with Stratus Dancer, still has a 3/2.
Yeah. That's why Den Protector is a great card.
That's why Stratus Dancer is a great card.
All right, Roast will go for the Morph. And a Jig is up. It is not the Den Protector. There you go. Yeah, it's Stratus Dancer.
Harlan doesn't even bother to read it. He knows what's going on. Probably knew it was a Stratus Dancer the whole time.
And then he'll pass. A lot of respect was paid there. He could have cast Crackling Doom, but certainly would have been more mana efficient. It looks like he has 3 copies of it in hand.
And the issue there is that Jesse gets to choose which creature he sacrifices with 2 creatures with 2 power.
Yavimaya Coast for Jesse. Swing with the Advocate. Now, big play from Yavimaya Coast because it does turn on colorless mana for Jesse.
Also, 1 more land in this Lumbering Falls can start attacking for 5. Oh, 2 more lands, rather. Sorry.
Oh, wow,
1 more
Advocate.
activate.
You're right. Advocate does pump it.
Yep.
That's Hexproof, which doesn't really matter against Crackling Doom.
No, not so much.
What I'm excited about here is the amount of flash in Jesse's deck. So 4 mana up. Okay, what all do we have here? We have Vile Redeemer, we have Bounding Crassus, we have Collected Company, we have Harbinger of the Tides. These are all possibilities.
Harbinger of the Tides is a sweet one. That's a modern staple. It's a legacy staple. Now we're seeing it in Standard. Not the order cards usually go in.
Well, Aether Vial plays into that a fair amount.
It certainly does.
I think if we put Aether Vial in Standard, we'd see a lot more Harbinger of the Tides.
Let's agree to that and not bother actually doing it.
Card would be really good in company in the rally deck,
Card's degenerate.
You just put your rally creatures out so quickly. And it'll be a face-down Den Protector from Harlan.
Now, Jesse almost assuredly knows what this one is.
Well, this is interesting. Despite the fact that he's at 11, Harlan is not prioritizing playing these kill spells at all.
It's interesting.
He feels very safe.
The Den Protector, assuming no tricks when it morphs up, is able to trade with Sylvan Advocate. So you're kind of playing a removal spell and also generating some value, though it is problematic if Jesse has a Bounding Crassus here.
If he just taps it, how good is that?
Ooh.
All right. We do have a Void Grafter.
I believe this is a Dimensional Infiltrator.
You're right, it's a Dimensional Infiltrator.
This is a very interesting card. Much like many of the Eldrazi, it just has a very bizarre ability. You can pay a colorless and 1 to mill your opponent. They actually exile the top card of the library. And if it's a land, you're able to return Dimensional Infiltrator to your hand.
So it's a protection ability that sometimes works.
This harkens back to Frenetic Ifrit in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's this weird protection ability that looks like it kind of sucks, but it might be great sometimes.
It is interesting, isn't it? So Dimensional Infiltrator is going to swing in. So will Sylvan Advocate. Here's a block. Den Protector will flip up, getting back Roast. Does Jesse have a play?
Nope, he says that's fine.
That's fine. Harlan down to 9.
Still getting in for 2 with that Infiltrator.
You were hoping for that end-step Bounding Crassus, weren't you?
That's what I wanted.
To tap the morph, beat him for 5.
Absolutely.
Activate Lumbering Falls, make it 8.
Yes.
Just that probably would have been game, to be honest. Like, I don't know if there's any coming back from that one.
It'd be tough to recover.
Well, here is a Matter Reshaper from Jesse.
It's a good one. That's going to possibly make Crackling Doom look pretty bad.
Yeah, now there's a misstep here, I believe, from Jesse in that he didn't leave up any colorless mana for the Dimensional Infiltrator.
Yeah. I assume that this is just from years of playing with Painlands.
Yeah, you tap them. You don't leave them untapped.
Yeah. So there's some new things that are going to have to change with Oath of the Gatewatch now, introducing colorless mana as something that matters.
And I actually think Matter Shaper seems excellent in this matchup if Harlan's job is just trying to kill spell down Jesse.
Yeah, we were talking about how good it is that Crackling Doom helps you pressure your opponent's life total, but it also costs 3. Matter Shaper also costs 3, so you're just trading on mana and cards, but then you also just get to draw a card or put something into play.
Yeah, so here's the attack from Jesse. Harlan had no plays on his turn. Crackling Doom will hit Matter Reshaper, and we'll see what it will reshape itself into. We won't see yet. With that trigger on the stack, it looks like Harlan's going to go ahead and crackle some more Doom.
Yeah, saving some damage this way. I like it a lot. Wonder if we'll see an activation here on the Infiltrator.
Oh, that's interesting.
If you're not doing anything with the mana, you may as well.
You kind of wish that you could know ahead of time, right?
Yeah, that would be nice.
That's the hard part. We'll see.
Yeah,
all right,
we're
she's
seeing
gonna,
it.
She's going to try for it. Charlotte, all right. If Harlan's top card is a land,
Oh,
it's not.
Whammy. It's not bad that...
I love random chance cards. These things are so fun.
You don't see them often in Magic. They make for very interesting scenarios.
Let's do it again. Are we doing it again? Always loading up.
This is a lot of mana, actually.
Oh, he could have company.
Just putting something else into play to sacrifice. Okay, gonna make a... Well... I'm not sure why we're not waiting for the Infiltrator to die.
Well, so what this means is that Vile maybe he just wants the damage in. So he's playing Vile Redeemer.
Oh, that's true. That's a good
And
point.
so now the Crackling Doom is going to hit the Vile Redeemer because he paid the colorless. So look at this on screen. He paid a colorless for it. So he put an Eldrazi Sign into play for each non-token creature that died under its control. So that's 1 because he's counting the Matter Reshaper.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets 1, but then he sacrifices the Vile Redeemer to Crackling Doom, and 2 damage actually will come in on the Dimensional Infiltrator. And how sick is this? Matter Reshaper reshapes itself into Matter Reshaper.
Didn't even matter that he cast Crackling Doom.
That reminds me of, like, you know those guys in Mario that you jump on them and then they crumble and then they just and they turn back into like a turtle again? You know?
I was too busy beating Mario to pay attention to what was happening.
No, you just jump on those guys, but then they just they're called. Okay, we're being told they're called Dry Bones is their name.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and that's I think that's what that feels like to me.
You should have led on the fact that they're skeletons.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They're skeleton Koopas.
I was envisioning something that was like a giant stack of something.
No.
There's also this giant like Triceratops thing that breaks into little Triceratops when you jump on it.
I don't even. Okay. Now. Oh yeah. Those guys. Yeah. Well, Chandra's going to go ahead and set the board on fire. Now the Matter Reshaper, it's reshaping itself into something else, and it's Bounding Crassus.
That is going to... It attacks for half of Harlan's life total here.
That's a super weird Dry Bones. That'd be like if you jumped on a Dry Bones and then it turned itself back into a Goomba or something, and you'd be like, that's not how that works.
Wait a minute.
And here's Lumbering Falls, and it's a swing for 6, so Kegel takes the game.
We got lethal. Yeah,
I like this deck.
That was
This
a very
is
good
great.
reshaping. Yeah, a lot of good value here.
Look at this.
Access to cards that nobody else is playing too.
He's going to leave up mana. And if I'm in Harlan's spot here, I look at this and I'm like, okay, he's got mana up, and I have no clue what that means. Because he's already shown a willingness to just play a lot of different cards that we didn't expect. So we thought, what, Matter Reshaper, Dimensional Infiltrator, Vile Redeemer, Bounding Crassus. At this point, you're just like, okay, I don't know what's going on
And what
anymore.
are you going to do? What are you going to do? Not cast Crackling Doom? Where does that get you?
Right. You don't really have options here. Anyway, game one. Game one's to Jesse Cagle. So, all right, put yourself in Harlan's shoes here. We're going to go over to his sideboard, figure out what he knows and doesn't know about this matchup. We're going to look at the cards. He has a Duress, 2 Hallowed Moonlight, 3 Transgress the Mind, 4 Roast, 3 Anafenza, a Virulent Plague, another end, a Dark Petition, Obnixilis, and Chandra.
So did we see a Collecting Company in game one? The question is whether we want Hallowed Moonlight or not. Seems okay. We did see Vile Redeemer for sure, so it gets that. Cycles anyway. Not great.
Yeah,
not
Jesse's actually paying for the creatures, right? You know, it's not going to hit that many things.
Anafenza the Foremost is bigger than every creature that we saw. Maybe just clocking is important. I bring it in for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, so you're someone, you play a lot of tempo decks, you know, and in a sense that this green blue company deck feels that way. And yeah, one of the ways you can get around a tempo deck is just kind of ignore their game, just play bigger things.
Yeah,
and,
just outmuscle them.
Outmuscle them. Have something really efficient. Maybe that works here.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. When you're playing a deck that just has a bunch of small creatures, sometimes just a 4/4 with no text brick walls you completely. Now, to be fair, Bounding Crassus kind of gets around this issue. There's some flyers looming in Jesse's deck, so it's not great, but it's probably better than a lot of what's going on in the main deck. Just applying pressure looks very important here.
Yeah, to that effect, how do you feel about Roast in the matchup?
Roast is fine. Given how much flash is going on, you're probably taking a hit from anything before you cast it. It's going to be a matter of what the worst card in your deck to board out with. Chandra Flamecaller seems very slow, so that's probably where I'm looking first. I also don't think I like Duress very much out of the main deck, so we're probably getting rid of those.
Yeah, Jesse's 30 creatures, 6 spells in the main. That certainly is punishing for Duress. And we'll go look at Jesse's sideboard now. The innovative blue-green company deck at 3-0. He has 2 natural slates, an evolutionary leap, a negate, a disdainful stroke, 2 reality shift, 2 encase and ice, 2 epic confrontation. Dang, all right. 3 feed the clan, and a Whisperwood elemental. What are we? All right.
Yeah,
what are we into here?
We know that our opponent is all removal spells, red spells, some reasonably big creatures. We know that they're into value with Den Protector, so what we want to do is protect our creatures, so negate seems fine. I don't know how I feel about Reality Shift, why that's in the sideboard. It technically protects a creature from a removal spell, replaces it with a manifest creature, so
it has flash.
That's something.
It plays into the instant speed part of the deck.
If we're wary of Anafenzas, or we assume Siege Rhinos, we didn't see any, but Mario Green decks typically play them, then Encase and Ice is a relevant card. Yeah. I think that most of the creatures we're going to see are actually going to win the epic confrontation against us. That one seems a little marginal.
Well, it's +1/+2 when they make them fight, so yeah.
There's also a lot of removal spells in the response, so I don't love that one. Feed the clans right out.
I like Whisperwood Elemental quite a bit, though, especially if your opponent's on an all-kill spell plan.
Yeah, Whisperwood Elemental is great. The only problem, you might trade down on mana against Crackling Doom, but it's a risk you're more than willing to take.
All right. Well, we're about to start game 2 of Jesse Cagle versus Harlan Fear. If you want to catch up on what's happened in the previous games or in the previous 3 rounds, make sure to follow us on YouTube, SCG Live. You can get matches of coverage archives of all our SCG Tour events, as well as Versus Series videos between prominent SCG players, both in Standard and Commander formats, premium archives, unboxings, and more. Find out about all of this at youtube.com/StarCityGames. And so Jesse Cagle, the Green Ranger, we're going to go with that.
A Green Ranger.
A Green Ranger.
Yes. Tommy will always be the Green Ranger.
Well, that costume is definitely Tommy's, right?
Yes, absolutely.
There's not, yeah. So I don't know if any of the spin-offs, if there were, you know how like there were more than one Red Ranger, it wasn't always just Jason, then it became other guys in different series. Well, I don't know if there's other Green Rangers.
Oh, if they ever continued the color, they retired the uniform.
Did they retire the uniform, or were there other inhabitants of the Green Ranger?
I don't know. Green is such a basic color. They had to have recycled that one.
You should let us know. Let us know, Twitter. Are there more? How many Green Rangers were there?
By this point, it has to be thousands.
Oh man, there's been that many Power Ranger shows?
Yeah, probably.
They're not still doing them. They're still new Power Ranger shows.
If you count,
oh god, they are still doing them, aren't they?
If you count unlicensed spin-offs, it's got to be close to 1,000.
Both players starting the game just trading off lands. We see the Lumbering Falls again for Jesse, but as we've seen before, I wouldn't say Jesse doesn't have a turn 2 play. I mean, so we don't know yet.
Yeah, there's got to be an
Here's a pass.
infiltrator, right? There
Dimensional
it is.
Infiltrator coming on in. Harlan, he's wise to it this time,
Yeah,
though.
get him while he doesn't have any mana. Doesn't have any colorless mana yet, but get him anyway.
I'm interested to see if he uses the Fire Impulse here. Fire Impulse is a 1-mana instant to deal 3. Actually seems like the premium card in Harlan's deck.
That's true. Kills everything, right?
Kills everything. You can leave it up at an instant speed. If he had something like a Crackling Doom, I might be tempted to Crackle Doom here instead.
Yep, it's mana fit. Colonial's Command's actually really
That's
good.
great. So 2 damage to Infiltrator, and Jesse will discard. That's probably the best he could do.
Yeah, and the matchups for that actually kills creatures. It really shines. This is a card I've been playing in Modern for a long time, and this is
great.
exactly what you want to do.
I mean, that's a punishment, right? If your opponent is going to play with flash creatures with flash generally tend to be smaller, and it means that cards like Colion's Command can be more damaging.
Absolutely.
Crumbling Vestige was the discard for Jesse. I really want to play this deck right now. It looks that. Land pass. Yeah, like I believe that.
No, there's just no way.
There is some danger here, though. One way, we talked about this, to beat up on a tempo deck is just to pound for pound them. And, well, the pound for pound king of Standard is still Siege Rhino.
What sound does a rhino make?
I don't know. What sound does a rhino make?
I am not good at making animal sounds, but I can tell you for a fact it's less intimidating than you think it is.
How about a thud? Hits the board right there.
That's a good one.
3 life.
If you're watching at home, you should look up the YouTube clip of a rhino making sounds so you know what I'm talking about. It's very funny.
Yes. Let's look up animal YouTube videos.
It's pretty much a cow with a horn.
So we'll see what guys on the end step. It's the Bounding Crassus from Jesse.
Tap him down. Swing those life totals right back.
Kind of. You're still trying to outmuscle a Siege Rhino. Oh boy.
Yeah, a lizard is not the best way to do that.
I mean, it depends if they're fighting in the water or on land, right?
A lizard? If we're
Well,
talking about,
it's a Crassus. Isn't he? He's a fish lizard.
Sure.
The Simic are weird like that.
My point is that he's not a crocodile. If we had a literal crocodile, I think you have an argument.
We don't know. I don't know. The Crassus, I think he'd be a worthy opponent in water.
Okay, you're allowed to believe that.
Siege Rhino hits Jesse down to 13. He's got gills. Looks like there's some claws.
Do rhinos float? Does it have
Probably not. They have to be taller than the water. Maybe,
Yeah, does it have any chance in water against anything? Maybe a lizard's good enough.
If it's just a pond, a lake, maybe the lake doesn't go very deep. Collected Company here for Jesse Cagle. A lot of options. We see Sylvan Advocate. Looks like Void Grafter there. Does he want to show his opponent that he's playing Void Grafter? Does he have a different option? It's going to be
Another
Dimensional Infiltrator and Sylvan Advocate. Void Grafter so that's the 2/4 for 3 with Flash that gives a creature hexproof until end of turn.
Very weird card.
The Simic, they're
reminiscent.
real weird.
Yeah, this is a throwback to Plax Manta. I'm happy that you knew that. Of course you knew that.
Right.
Why would you not know that? Everybody knows Plax Manta.
Everybody knows Plax Manta. Come on. Could use some hexproof now. Harlan's going to gun down these creatures right as they came.
And he still has the Rhino. This is not looking good for the blue-green deck.
I mean, Rhino, yeah. So now the fight is Dimensional Infiltrator versus Siege Rhino. And Harlan's last cards, a land and Goblin Dark Dwellers.
And this is exactly what I was talking about with the potential of boarding an Anafenza. It doesn't really matter that it's Siege Rhino right here, right? If we just reverse these life totals, 14 to 16, I still would favor the person with the 4/4.
I'd favor him. I mean, I do like that Siege Rhino is just that much more value. I think the 6-point life swing will matter in some boards. But on this one, you're right.
I'm not saying that I'm going to miss my trigger or anything.
just as a taunt.
Just to teach him a lesson.
I don't need this. I'll win anyway. Dimensional Infiltrator swings, and as Jesse's done every turn this game, he plays a land and passes. I do not believe Jesse has used his own turn for a single spell yet.
Why would you? That actually makes me kind of suspect of the presence of Crumbling Vestige in his deck.
You're right. If you're only
He had it. That was his discard on turn 2 when he had no colorless sources. If he wasn't leaving up a flash creature, that would have just been his land drop.
Interesting. There are other options. There's a land that makes colorless that you can make any color if you tap a creature. I don't know.
That card's pretty bad.
Kalidas was the play for Harlan. Jesse will end step, play another Dimensional Infiltrator, and then untap. The fact that Harlan's guys are big and life linking here, though,
It's problematic.
yeah, there is not removal in Jesse's deck.
No, you just don't get to do that in blue-green. And even if he did, what would it be? Spatial Contortion? That's not good enough here.
Reality Shift.
Oh, that's true.
That's the one.
He has those ones. But even if just turning one of these creatures into a 2/2, he's still losing this race.
Well, what he can do is he can block and bounce.
He also has Lumbering Falls on the defense against a 2/2.
Yeah. So to try to deny the life gain off Kalidas, I think that's his play. And this one, oh, it is risky. He's going to block and try to bounce the Dimensional Infiltrator, and he'll do it.
Got there.
All right.
I mean, if it's your only out, what's his alternative? Take 7 and have his opponent at 16?
So, are you a risk-averse player, or do you like risk? Like, do you like taking those lines, or does it make you really uncomfortable?
If I'm playing this deck, I think you have to, right?
Just be like, boy, I sure hope this is the land.
That said, I try to play decks that avoid putting me in these situations. Like, I would prefer to be playing Harlan's deck because I can just kill anything instead of having to maybe end up chump blocking.
Big value play then by Harlan as well. Goblin Dark Dwellers is the play. He uses Kolaghan's command to kill the Infiltrator and make Jesse discard. And that is too much to deal with. Harlan evens things up at a game apiece.
There was some serious upside on that Necrotal there.
I like Goblin Dark Dwellers. He's a
Do you
great
like
toolbox.
it because it's great? Is that why you like it? It's a
yes, I like great cards.
That's a hot take.
It is a creature I can get behind because it's actually just a spell. That's kind of where I fall in creatures. If I can just tell you that if the creature is an honorary spell, I'm okay. It's like, you know what, a creature I like? Emrakul. That guy's a good guy because he's not really a creature. You know, he's a spell.
You like Gristlebrand?
Yeah, Gristlebrand's fine. He attacks a little much, but it's probably okay. Gristlebrand's good.
How much of a spell would you consider Palace Familiar?
Boy, that one's okay. That's for like.
So
we're pushing it because I'm okay with like Augur of Bolas, right?
Yeah.
That guy was good, except that he never drew cards. So that there was that problem that I'd rather have him be Seagate Oracle. That guy I can play.
Something that's interesting here is it looks like both players are actually going back to sideboard. We didn't see Harlan play in Anafenza. Perhaps he didn't board it in and he's thinking, that card seems great. It's a 4/4.
Hey, this whole play some real efficient creatures plus removal. I mean, the issue with Jesse is he is playing 2/1s for 2, and they just don't, that is not the going rate for creatures in Standard.
There's a very small list of constructed viable decks that are filled with 2/1s, right? And many of them are from 1995.
yeah. Y'all Jackal Pup decks and yeah, so your Jackal Pups. Dark Confront's a great 2/1. I could get behind that one.
That's true, but it's not a deck full of 2/1s. It's a deck full of Dark
Confronts.
Confronts.
If I play a Dark Confront deck and I just keep flipping Savannah Lions off the top of the deck, you're not feeling threatened about this Dark Confront anymore?
I'm kind of wondering what I'm up to.
It's called Black-White 2/1s. It's a good deck. He's one of the best. We have Thalia in it. It's going to be great.
Snapcaster Mage is pretty good too.
Dragon Hunter. I don't know if we're 3, but we're all 2/1s. We can't play Snapcaster Mage on that deck.
What's
he gonna flash back?
He has Flash.
He can't play more. We're gonna play
Surprise
Ambush
blocker.
Viper.
Yeah.
I don't want to splash blue for Ambush Viper. You gotta play. I don't know.
You take them where you get them.
All right.
I thought you said you liked great cards.
Yeah, I do. That's fair.
There's got to be some kind of spell that makes 2/1s,
Snapcaster
right?
Mage is another one of those creatures that I could play.
Yeah?
He's an honorary spell.
You could justify that one?
Yeah, so creatures that actually have to do something.
If you twist my arm, I'd possibly play the best card in Modern.
Sakura Tribuilder, that's a creature we can play.
Yep, I've played a lot of that one.
Yeah. So we are currently in round 4 of 15. Jesse Cagle and Harlan Fear about to go to game 3. One thing I want to mention here is that they are building toward the Season 1 Invitational. The winner, of course, gets their likeness on a token as of last season. That was none other than Caleb Shear, winning with Abzan aggro through the top 8, defeating Vidianto Wijaya for the championship, securing his place in the Players' Championship, where he got all the way to a top 8 finish. You can get that one all the way through the end of the season by playing in an Open, one of our Sunday Classics, or if you can't make it out to one of our events, by putting an order of at least $5 from StarCityGames.com.
It's really funny when you put it that way. He got to make the Storm token by winning with an Abzan aggressive deck.
Yes, I mean, to be fair, Caleb, no stranger to Storm. Interesting fact about him: after making the Players Championship and making top 8 of it, he went and got a Storm symbol tattooed on his chest
Why
at
not?
the event in Roanoke. Just left the building, came back 2 hours later, and said, "I got this sweet tattoo." I'm just like,
So he's a pretty spur of the moment guy.
I like it. That's what I want my Storm players to be like. They're just. All right, game 3. Once again, Kegel starts on Lumbering Falls. Has had that all 3 games. He plays 4 copies of the creature land.
Yeah, it's more than anything going to be a mana fixer, but as we pointed out earlier, plays great with Sylvan Advocate.
Turn 2, well, land go, right?
So we know he does not have Sylvan Advocate.
That's true. That is one of the sorceries in his deck. That is, yeah, that is the source. I mean, he could, I guess, if he had double blue, he could have played a Harbinger of the Tides.
That's a reasonable card
On
to
turn
play.
2.
Not on turn 2, but at sorcery speed is what I was going to say.
I don't know that I want to play. I guess, yeah, we can play the sorcery speed later on.
You shave
I don't
mana.
really wanna,
What if you have 5 mana?
I
Your
don't wanna
opponent has
bounce
a tapped
those-
creature.
a Dark Dwellers or a Siege Rhino or.
Hey, we probably boarded that card out, huh? Is that what you're getting at?
I'm looking. I mean, if we can bounce their one of Kalidas, I'm down. That seems great.
So, I don't like asking questions like this. Harbinger of Tides allow you to bounce your own creature.
I'm not sure. All right, so as a turn 2 Soulfire Grandmaster from Harlan Fear, Kegel is going to reality shift it.
That is odd. I am not sure I like that play. I'm fine having reality shift in the deck because, as we noticed, just 4/4 or even 3/4 creatures on play are problematic for Jesse. But why we're concerned about a 2/2 is a little beyond me.
I want to reality shift a 5-drop. I don't. But here's Matter Reshaper from Jesse. I like this card. This card I was very happy with. I suppose if all your Matter Reshapers flip Matter Reshapers, this card's just incredible.
Yeah.
So I liked it because when I saw it, it kept flipping more copies of itself. And I'm like, wow, this card's great. We should play this.
Yeah, we're back to that point of liking great cards, huh?
I mean, if you can flip, maybe you kill one, then you kill the next one, then it flips into a Vile Redeemer, and they get like 5 Scions, and you're like, oh, this is good. We should do this.
That seems fine.
It's going to be some discard here from Harlan.
Kind of.
I mean, he tried for it. We have 2-dimensional infiltrators, an island, and a corrupted crossroads. None of those can be selected here, though.
No, this mind is transgress proof. He is untransgressible.
Well, you can transgress it. You just don't. Okay, no. You can look. You can enter his mind, but you cannot transgress it.
Yeah, hem and haw a little bit, and then exit his mind, sadly.
For Harlan, you see what he is building up toward, however. Looks like he has a turn 4. His curve of 4, 5, 6 are already spoken for in Rhino Chandra.
So we're seeing him leave up a fetch land here, though his
Wow,
4th
okay.
land is a
Is
tap
it-
land.
Yeah, it's a Nomad Outpost, I believe. That's interesting. All right. 4th land here from Jesse.
To my knowledge, there's no way that this manifest flips up for a red or a green mana.
All right, let's see. The Matter Reshaper
It's
is hit. What's it going to turn into? Turns into a land.
Not what we wanted.
Still okay.
I
We
mean,
might have. I mean,
we drew a card.
we wanted a Matter Reshaper, obviously. Or a Vile Redeemer seems sweet.
Yeah.
I like how many just random effects there are in this deck. You know,
I believe that Vile Redeemer along the lines of other Eldrazi is actually a cast trigger.
oh no, you're right. Yeah, because you're right. So we can't Matter Reshape into it. I like how much random there is. We have, we have these Matter Reshapers. We have these Dimensional Infiltrators. There's a lot of excitement in this deck,
Yes.
and he'll pass.
So we know about those infiltrators here, so I think we know what's happening at the end of Harlan's turn.
Harlan's draw for the turn is another dual land, but yeah, Nomad Outpost is the play. So last turn, by leaving up that 1 mana, he did give himself the potential. No, I was going to say the potential to play Murderous Cut, but I don't believe he did. He couldn't get black mana with it.
I think he could get... No, you're right. It would come into play tapped if he
yeah.
did. I don't think he had enough cards in his graveyard either, though.
Strange.
I just
don't know. I don't get it.
I don't understand it in any way.
Murderous Cut takes care of Dimensional Infiltrator.
Here it's fine. You know that Jesse's only other spell that he's shown you is just it's on the table. you know?
Yeah, there's going to be a Rhino. Next turn, the Rhino starts. There'll be delayed one.
Yeah. So it's a misstep that doesn't look like it's going to matter a whole lot, but we could have a Rhino in play already.
We'll see. A swing for 2 from Jesse puts Harlan down to 14. He did not go for Lumbering Falls there, so I'm assuming he's got some good follow-ups. And at 2 mana, looks like we have a Sylvan Advocate. 1 card remaining in Jesse's hand.
I was suspicious of tapping mana on our turn. Now we know why.
Now we know why. It's the 1 sorcery card.
And it's actually the same size as Siege Rhino. We have 6 lands.
All right, so 4/5 from Siege Rhino. You know, it's not fair, because Siege Rhino, you have to go through all that work to make Sylvan Advocate a 4/5, and Siege Rhino just gets to do it, and then has an ability.
Siege Rhino costs 3 colors. That's a lot of colors.
You know, it doesn't even seem like that many in Standard right now.
It was not an entirely sincere comment on my part.
Oh, okay, good call. Good call. Bounding Crassus will tap down the Siege Rhino, and this is a lot of damage from Jesse. Now, the Sylvan Advocate can pump that Lumbering Falls.
Yeah.
Hold on here. This is no joke. So what do we have? We have 4. We have 9 on the table. We have the potential for a swing of 14 from Jesse Cagle this turn.
That is what they call a pretty good turn in the business.
So that's going to be the play. Remember, that Sylvan Advocate does more. Yeah.
Leaving up a colorless mana here, because who cares?
So it's pumping itself and the Lumbering Falls. So 5 from the Falls, 2 from the Infiltrator makes 7, 4 from the Advocate makes 11, 3 from the Crosses is 14. Harlan is down to 5.
And back up to 8.
I don't know that second Siege Rhino is enough.
Might not be. Still have the flying on the Infiltrator. Still have a 5/5 in the Lumbering Falls.
No cards in Jesse's hand.
I think Harlan has another Rhino.
He does. He has another Rhino, a Chandra, and a Goblin Dark Dwellers.
Yeah, Jesse needs the top of his deck to cooperate here. That was a very good turn, but this game could slip away in short order.
He doesn't have it on the board, you're right. Encase in Ice. And that will do it. Encase in Ice takes care of a Rhino. He can he activates a Lumbering Falls, and the top deck gets him there. Jesse Cagle.
Yeah.
Green
Wow.
Ranger up to 4-0, defeating Harlan Fear in 3.
The top deck did not disappoint.
All right. We talked about how Green Blue doesn't have many kill spells. Well, what a great time for that one to show up.
Yeah, pretty much perfect. You wouldn't want it at any other point in the game.
Wow, congratulations to Jesse.